Hello everybody, I am back here with my amazing friend Dr. Sandra Rose Michael for another interview all about the revolution of healing, the energy enhancement system, technology, and what this really has to offer the world, how it came to being, and many, many questions that all of you asked that are going to be answered throughout this interview that we're doing right here. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for being here, Sandra. Thank you for your time again. We are sitting here in New York today. Sandra flew out here all the way to New York to do this, and I'm grateful for you and your time, so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Before we go into everything we're going to go into in this interview, questions, answers, and all that, how did the last interview impact your life, change your life? I want to hear all about it.
It was OMG, the tsunami of response, which was surprising but not, because I was always told that when it was time, it had to be everywhere fast. And that was part of where we tied back to the light system and TLS, because it's like when it's time, it has to be everywhere fast. And so it's this tsunami, though, that we couldn't even have begun to prepare for. And we had everything going very, very well all over the world, very, very smooth, very, very well. And then it was like, oh my gosh, there's 70,000 emails. We had nothing in place for that. The calls were coming in less than more than one a minute sometimes. We didn't have a call center. We don't have a call center. People were going, how come you haven't gotten back to us? The calls were coming in faster than anybody could take them off or answer them or do anything.
The intention here was, and I'm going to backpedal before I clarify a few things from the last interview, but the intention here was very clear. I had a task that was given to me, and when I say that was given to me, I'm talking about directly when it comes to TLS, that organization that we spoke about in the last interview that actually approached Sandra on July 11th, I believe, of 2011.
Yeah.
So the task over here was, I needed to figure out a way to bring this incredible woman's technology to the awareness of the entire world as fast as possible and make it as accessible as possible as fast as possible. And then I had to figure out how to do it. So I was actually sent to Las Vegas to go and interview you. And I told you before it came out, I don't know what's about to happen, but we're getting help from forces that both of us may not completely understand, from powers that both of us may not completely understand. We're the soldiers. Our job is to execute what we need to do, to bring healing to the world, to bring awareness of technology to the world. The rest is up to God and anybody else that's helping us behind the scenes. And I think it's very obvious to say that we got help that is, unbelievable.
We're not sure what happened, but it was a tsunami, which is what we need. That's the Great Awakening, a tsunami, a cataclysm of consciousness, so to speak, for the planet, that quantum leap of consciousness on the planet, that turning. And so I see it as very, very positive, and look how many people were ready to shift.
That's the thing, it's all about timing. And I think we are in an incredible timing right now to accept and receive this. That's why it's going all over the world. I know people in over 100 countries right now that are about to open up centers just from that last interview, and it's only the beginning. So there are a few points that I want to clarify from the last interview before going into the questions and the answers and all that you have for everybody throughout this interview to just continue expanding on what we did in the first one. So number one, I did mention in the first interview that my aunt had a 12.5 centimeter cystic fibroid in her uterus, and after 4 hours of treatment and sitting in that system, it completely dissolved. So ever since the first interview and after we put that out, it did come back, although much, much smaller, no pain, no urinary issues or anything like that. She followed your protocol, which is a big part of the healing aspect as well, with salt baths and diet, which we'll speak about later in this interview. She sat for more hours in that system, specifically in the Verona, New Jersey system, Jeffrey Lewis's system, and it went away, never came back, hasn't resurfaced, and it's all good. In addition to that, my sister's dog also had an incredible miracle that happened. I know a lot of you have asked, does it work on animals as well? The answer is yes. My sister's little toy poodle, his name is Shoko. He's about 6-7 pounds. He had a 2-inch cyst in having to do with like his lymph nodes and his lymphatic system in his neck, and 2 inches on a 6-7 pound dog is big. 30 hours of sleeping in the system, went away completely, hasn't resurfaced, and is just incredible to see.
Animals are much easier than humans. They just get it. I don't have to explain anything.
Yeah, they're just in tune.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to mention before going into the questions and answers portion of this interview as well is something really exciting, actually, that happened that was completely unforeseen, that came through very quickly, that was put together very quickly. So about 2 days after the first interview came out, I'm sitting at dinner, somebody said something, and something just exploded in my mind, and all I could see for the next 45 minutes to an hour was finding a way to make all these centers that are about to pop up all around the world on one unified network, where we can help bring attention and traffic to those centers so they never have to struggle with figuring out how do we get people to know about us, with making it affordable so they can't charge more than a certain amount of money per hour, per session, so everybody around the world will be able to access it. And then the best part is using that to be able to fund the greater expansion of the task and the mission that we have at hand, which we'll talk about later in this interview. But that idea came to fruition very, very quickly. I spoke to you about it before I launched the whole thing, and thankfully we got your blessing and your son's blessing and everything that we're doing here. But that idea that we're talking about here is the Unified Healing Network through unifiedhealing.com, of bringing and bridging the gap between all of these centers to bring them around this network all together, where it's a win-win-win for everybody. And literally in a period of, I think it was 3 days over a weekend, put together a team, built a new website, and figured out how to build this network.
I was like, what? Yeah, you did that so fast.
Yeah. And before we go into the questions and answers, I do want to say thank you to the current centers that have decided to be a part of this network and have aligned themselves with this mission of making it accessible, making it affordable, and helping us fund this greater mission of really bringing healing to humanity as a whole.
We can say it's amazing, it's awesome, that we are the combined, unified presence that can heal the world. So unified healing.
With that, I do want to go into the questions. One of the common themes that we're seeing of externalizing power when it comes to saying, oh yeah, this technology can just do anything, so I'm going to continue living the way that I want to live and eating garbage and doing all that.
That's not what it's for. What would be the point? Somebody said, well, can't you just remotely heal me? And, well, you know, what would be the point? If you keep doing what you've been doing, you can't expect a different result. Yeah, we could do that, but you would just recreate. Mm-hmm. So this is about having the energy to change your thinking, to change your mind, then to change your diet, and to change your body, and to change the world, change your communities, change our countries. You know, it's about having the energy to make more intelligent, more informed, healthier choices for yourself, for yourself, and for everybody.
Yes. Can you speak more about the protocol that's in place when going and do this to get the greatest benefits and effects that you can get from it?
Yeah. It's important to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So I tell people, don't go in going, I want to get rid of cancer. The body hears cancer. And the body hears every word you say or think even, and takes it very, very personally. So you want to focus on what you want. Thank your body. Gratitude. He who is grateful in all things shall be made glorious, right? So you want to focus on being glorious. You want to focus on the gratitude. Thank your body for doing everything it's done to bring you to where you are now. Mm-hmm. The more you focus on the perfection, the more the perfection manifests. That could be an aspect. That's the ultimate perfectionist trip. Mm-hmm. But it's an aspect of Ho'oponopono, which means making what's right more right. So you want to focus on and thank your body, that, you know, gratitude for doing whatever it takes to totally heal and function more and more optimally.
Gotcha. I know you speak a lot about salt baths, and when you speak about diet, maybe we can go deeper into that when it comes to that protocol of perfection to experience what a lot of people experience as miracles around the world. Can you speak more about the salt baths and the detoxes and things like that?
Yeah, because that's very, very important. We didn't mention that in the last interview. And I thought later that's like, I always talk about detox or the importance of detox. And that is critical. And the protocol we recommend is drinking a lot of water. It's a 28% reduction in surface tension of water in the technology.
What does that mean? I know we spoke about that just the other day. Explain what that actually means and the implications on the body.
A lot of dis-ease is acute. It's from acute chronic dehydration. A lot of the aging process is the body not able to get the water, the fluids into the cells to support the function. The fluidity of the blood, for example. People just acute chronic dehydration. So you're going to hydrate everything. Mm-hmm. So the water is very, very important. It's also detox. As the body has more energy, first thing it wants to do is clean house. All the stuff that just didn't get around to being able to have enough energy because the body was, it's stuck in fight, flight, or fight. It's that fear mode physically. Then the body only has enough energy, enough to get by. It's in survival. So it relegates enough energy, enough to get by to the different systems. Mm-hmm. So when the body is put back into alignment with that source energy, all of a sudden it has more energy for all the detoxification function of kidneys and liver and all these things. And so when the body has more energy, it wants to clean house. But it's also, you can see that light force energy, the charge that the body has. And it's like the cells are charged up. You're activating that light at the core of the DNA and in the cells. When it has that charge, the body's going to be discharging everything that doesn't support greatest life. It's going to be trying to literally push toxins out of every nook and cranny it can get it out of as fast as it can. Mm-hmm. If it pushed everything out at once, it wouldn't be good either, because it's, however, is in alignment with true best and highest interest. We have not been taught in this Western medical model to trust the infinite innate intelligence of the body and to know that the body will do whatever it takes to heal itself. Yep. And to appreciate that and thank it for doing whatever it takes versus trying to suppress and shut down or drug down the symptoms of things. Instead, you want it, this is like going to the core, to your essence. And your body wants to push out anything and everything that does not support greatest life. So the detox bath is a long lost science, actually, but nothing does what a bath does, because the skin is the largest organ of elimination. It's the third kidneys. So you want to take all the stress off the kidneys. But and the salt, and this is not Epsom salt. We get that question every single day. It's not Epsom salt because, as we spoke about, that's not really a salt. It's magnesium sulfate. Okay. And so there's many reasons why you wouldn't want to do the magnesium sulfate.
What salt are you talking? Sea salt.
We do put a little bit of the Hawaiian salt, the red salt, the Alai, into our mix of salts. For the ideal detox is our EE salt bath. But
I know some of the centers also hold that salt. Meaning they're able to, they have that in their centers over there as well. I was actually speaking to Jeffrey earlier, and he was mentioning that in his center that he has something like that.
Yeah, we hypercharge it. That's the EE salt. But we also encourage, and this would be something we'll work with your network, work with the Unified Healing Network, to also bring in their own salt. Like Jeffrey works with the essential oils, the Young Living oils. So they have their salt. They put some of our hypercharged salt in, which is another quantum of energetic. But they put it in the technology. Anything that's brought into one of the EE systems has a scalar enhanced effect.
Gotcha.
when we hypercharge, it takes it another quantum. So that's, some people question about that. But people bring in their crystals and their supplements and their salts and all that so that it's charged. And that holds indefinitely because it embeds. But we want people to do that, because that's the most important thing. The first question, if anybody has a negative so-called reaction or response, after being in the technology, first question is, did you do the salt bath? That's always the first question. Because as the body's trying to push the toxins out, if you don't do the salt bath, it might reabsorb some of them because it's not getting out fast enough.
I actually did the salt bath right after I left the Verona, New Jersey location, and I think right after that was when I felt full clarity mentally, which was awesome.
Yeah,
it lasted a few days.
It pulls out the toxins rather than reabsorbing, because you want to get it out fast enough. You want to make sure the colon, it's this holistic health, means
Gotcha.
You're looking at the whole picture. So you want to make sure the colon is moving and things like that. So some people use some herbs or things like that to support that. You want to drink a lot of water. If somebody goes into the system and gets a headache, for example, we tell people, as fast as it brings it up, that's how fast it'll clear it out. But usually it's because the colon is dehydrated and backed up. And that's what then feels like a headache. A lot of headaches are just from the colon being, it's auto-intoxication is what it's called, but for the colon, I mean, literally you're full of crap. If you get a headache, you drink that full glass of water, go right back in, or drink it in the system, and it clears as fast as it comes up. And whatever this technology brings up, that's how fast it brings it up, is how fast it wants to clear it out.
Understood.
So you want to go right back in. You want to do the salt bath. You want to drink a lot of water. You want to quit poisoning yourself. As I say, like your diet sodas are pure poison, for example, to the body. So you can't keep doing, what you've done that's created the issues in the first place. You want to detox the body from all those things.
So you mentioned diet. A lot of people have a lot of different ideas of what diet means. That's a very vague and big aspect of something to speak about. So when you speak about having a good diet in regards to this protocol, to have this technology work in the way that we're seeing it work in many people around the world, what do you mean by diet?
Well, that's always an interesting. Life comes from life. So you don't get more aliveness by putting in more dead stuff, whether that's your box packaged or your, the fast food, because that's all has neurotoxins and things to keep you addicted, to keep buying it, to go back. So you want to clean up the diet wherever a person's at. For one person, it might be just doing an upgrade of some sort. For another person, it's going to be fasting. Drinking a lot of water is key. And then also, you can't expect to be super healthy if you're still poisoning yourself. And the worst is, quit paying to poison yourself, because you're accountable. What are you investing in? Your greatest investment is your own health. If you don't have your health, what good is your wealth? This is the most important investment. So buy organic. You support the local organic farmers versus the big food, conglomerates.
So organic, alive foods, more on the raw side of the equation?
And if you're not doing organic, you're literally paying to poison yourself. And you know that. Organic's still not ideal, optimal, what it could be either, because we're living in such a toxic soup.
Have you seen any difference in regards to, while using this technology for any form of healing purpose, to get rid of something or detox from something, have you seen a difference between a more raw vegan diet
Absolutely.
and carnivorous diet, if that's the word?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and people go, well, where do you get your protein? I've been vegetarian more than 60 years, really. So where don't we get our protein? That's our amino acids. There's been a programming of, I need protein, I need the meat. But that the biological adaptation of the body, when you study the design of the body, was not really designed to handle that. So, if you are going to eat meat, get organic. Do free range. I mean, try to get it closer rather than what they've done with the factory farming with all the hormones and antibiotics and all these things. It's just a horror show. So you can't expect to be healthy doing that. But there is no fiber in meat. And it tends to get stuck in the body and stay in there and putrefy and things like that.
Interesting.
Or there's things people don't know about the meat. And chicken, whether it's organic or not, is the most inflammatory of the meats. People are usually shocked when I tell them that, but because of the high arachidonic acid content, it's the most inflammatory of the meats. Beef has a sugar that the body can't recognize, and particularly the brain. And so this is Harvard research. They found that, vegetarians don't get dementia. or that it could be considered diabetes of the brain. It's inflammation of the brain. So we're going to reduce all that inflammation, break down those amyloid plaques and things like that with the technology. But you also want to have more energy to make more intelligent, healthier, more informed choices. Everybody knows that going more plant-based is better. So you want to get the organic as far as possible and up your game.
A lot of people are actually on it's a very controversial topic, which is why I asked you. And I know a lot of people have opposing views and all that. And that's fine. Remember, you don't have to agree with everything. It's just a conversation being had with Dr. Sandra Rose Michael, sharing her knowledge through her experience and what she knows, and take it or leave it, do your own research, come down to your own conclusion. You spoke about the technology. I want to break down and have you break down in the simplest way possible with, I'll say layman terms if you can, explaining simplistically how, we're speaking to a woman with 165 IQ over here, so it's going to be hard, but we're going to do our best. How does this technology actually work? Because people are seeing these miracles, they're hearing about what you're saying, they're hearing all the testimonials from all around the world. Can you explain very simplistically how it works, and please emphasize how it's the body doing its thing instead of the technology doing something?
Yeah, and this goes back to the other thing too. I've been teaching over 45 years, and I've dealt with all kinds of healing modalities, and this is pulling that all forward. But I've been helping people, assisting people in reversing cancer and all these different things for over 45 years. So when we talk about changing the diet, it's just like make healthier choices for yourself, make your own shifts, because we're living in such a toxic soup of stuff. You have the EMF, ELF radiation on top of it. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there, because that's your invisible energies that are disruptive, destructive to the body. So we're taking those energies and creating coherence.
Okay.
So this is back to how does the technology work? Creating coherence where it's no longer disruptive, destructive.
You're pretty much like balancing the field. And if I'm understanding correctly, through that photonic light technology, I know I'm all over the place because I don't understand what you understand from where you're coming from completely, but through balancing that field, it allows the body to do what it's been trying to do all along.
Right.
How does that happen with screens and lights and sequences?
Yeah, it's creating an ideal, optimal, energetic environment that we would have in an ideal world.
Okay.
Because it's creating this null zone, 0 point. It's a true 0 point technology, which creates a nullification or neutralization of detrimental, destructive fields through a principle called coherence, which is very, very important. Coherence is where there's no impedance, right?
Meaning it's an unobstructed flow.
Right, and everything is flow in the body. So, and this is a flow of energy. But so it's working how do I want to explain? I mean, it's working as a human battery charger, so to speak. You know, like you recharge your cell phone, but you're recharging every cell of the body, and it's wireless transmission. I'm doing that through creating field engine generators.
Okay, tell me more.
You know, so I'm using computer components to create this engine that generates these fields. We're using the monitors to create the photonic aspect. And that's the only thing off the shelf. Everything else is custom designed and built to do what I want it to do. And then it's precisely aligned, so every installation is a custom installation. And that's part of the downside of the technology, as far as we had to figure out how to bring this out with it being aligned to within 1/100th of an inch tolerance. Precision. And it's that precision of the alignment. That's why there's a minimum of 4 to create a stable standing column or wave, a stable alignment of energy. And if something is misaligned, it creates a wobble. It creates a distortion in the field.
And that messes the field up.
Right, and then it doesn't work as well. And it's not like the technology won't still work, because each engine generator, these are not networked or anything, each one's independent, and it's like creating a Tesla coil type effect in itself. But then we're colliding the fields, or an intersection of the fields, to create that full torsion field effect.
You know what I love? Anybody that follows any of the work and interviews and lectures that I've ever put out myself, the point that I always drive home is you have the power within you. And anybody that tells you otherwise, and anybody that tells you go and purchase my technology because it's going to save you, run the other way, that's not how it works. And what you so like, with humility, you bring it to the table of saying, it's not my technology that's healing you. It's you that's healing you.
Yes.
And we actually have the ability, and you're helping us all remember that we have the ability to heal ourselves.
We've had technology used against us for mind control and programming. So they said there's only so much we could do 24/7 ourselves. Because you've got to bring people back into alignment, because they've been so stuck in the distorted and so affected, detrimentally affected by the radiation issues and by so many things that are disruptive to our innate natural wisdom and sovereignty as beings. You know, we're being bombarded 24/7 with this EMF, ELF radiation microwave, and then you got all the toxins in the air, in the water, in the food. There's so much toxicity that how do you support the body? And this was the answer. How do we bring healing to the world? And I was told to create this technology because we needed a power assist, or we'd never be able to create that quantum leap of consciousness to turn things the way we need to. And we're at tipping point. You know, we're at that cataclysm of consciousness time, where we're either going to create a cataclysm on the planet, like Atlantis again, or we're going to create a cataclysm of consciousness, and it's turning point, and everything's at criticality. What's cancer in the body? It's critical mass. Well, let's take where we're at and create that turning into healthier energetic fields, a healthier energetic expression. And that's why I tell people too, this energizes. It gives you energy. It literally raises the millivoltage, the cell membrane potential. It's activating the light within you. It's to help you remember who you are, all that you're here for, to align fully to every fiber and tissue of your being with your highest purpose, your greatest life, your highest expression as a fully realized God, goddess being, as a son and daughter of God, with full access to all that's ours, as the Christed, realized, enlightened beings, and to walk the planet as that. That's what this is designed to support. It's going to give you more energy. It's still up to you where you go with it, what you do with it.
Very important. Absolutely.
Healthier, more intelligent, more informed choices for yourself and for everybody.
Big question. People are asking, if it can do this, then the balance says there must be side effects. Is there a negative aspect, a danger to doing this if you're around this technology for too long or whatever it is?
You can never have too much good energy. I mean, we have a retired surgeon, has 40 units in his home. He has a 24 unit in one room, his den. He put a beautiful estate, a retired surgeon. He's in his 80s now. He had 8 units put around his office, 8 units put around a bed. And his severe prostate issues, he said, severe prostate issues were completely gone in the first 12 hours after it was installed. But then he goes, later he's telling me, oh, I don't have a single gray hair now. I could barely walk beforehand. I had tennis elbow and shoulder injuries. He was a tennis player.
You've seen it reverse the color of hair?
Many, many, many times. He goes, I don't have a single gray hair, but also I couldn't walk before. I had hip injuries, I had knee injuries, I had shoulder issues. He said, there isn't anybody that comes here that doesn't come out better. He goes, now in my 80s, that nobody over 50 can touch me in tennis. And he goes, why would anybody do less than 24? Because he goes, the difference is so astounding. Why would anybody do less than a 24? Well, our clinicals were done with 4s and 8s. But the difference with the 24, and that's what you want to focus on, is that's the geometry of the DNA, and it takes another whole quantum of experience and expression.
Speaking of clinicals and studies, a lot of people have asked, where can we see research done? I know you have a link that I can share in the description below this video as well, which I will. But can you speak about just like 1 or 2 of the studies that people can look for? I know you have tons, but a lot of people said, where's the research? We want to see. We just hear people saying something. Well, is there evidence out there?
Yeah, you can go to the research page at eesystem.com and you'll see a bunch of it. I mean, there's more. There's a lot that's been done because we've had every spook scientist sent in to and literally, I think I mentioned before John Orva, who was sent in, and you can read the transcript of what he found. He brought in his $100,000 oscilloscope, and he's explaining what he's seeing and what it means, and he was the head of science at one point for the Pentagon and for all these amazing brain researcher, and we did a lot of brain research after that with him. None of that's published, but it was amazing. Some of that research, though, was that you could go to a deeper meditational state than a Tibetan monk, ideal optimal meditational states because of the way it synchronizes right and left brain hemispheres, that brain balance that creates your whole brain thinking. We want to trigger people's genius. We each have our own genius. It's not about me being a genius, it's about how do we raise the intelligence level, because each person has their own genius. So when you put that into whole brain thinking, you open up the neurotransmitters, the synapses, all the neural pathways, but your ideal optimal meditational state, so you can each know whatever there is to know that allows everything to heal for yourself and for everybody. You let yourselves know what God wants you to know. That's how I created this, through that. I had 30 years of research in right-left brain synchronization. Besides that, we do have peer-reviewed published studies.
Good.
Dr. Terry Shintani, professor of complementary alternative medicine, University of Hawaii Medical School, did publish a study in the Journal of Neurology Research. You can see that on the website. Cool. It is there. And that was a very, very interesting case. So this is an interesting case study where there was a systemic poisoning event. There was that created a little girl had, she was having 8 to 10 grand mal seizures every single day. Well, the parents they had tried everything allopathically. They had tried everything holistically. They had changed the diet. They'd done chelation. They even bought their own hyperbaric chamber. They had tried everything. They brought her in. I said, it can only help. It can't hurt. Bottom line was the seizures mitigated a bit after the first time. They were going, well, maybe it's just our imagination, but they were doing a log. They were logging everything, and they reduced. And the second time in, better. She had her first seizure-free day after her third 1-hour session.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can't fake, a child can't fake doing seizures.
The child doesn't even know what's going on.
Seizures, and it wasn't like she understood exactly how our technology works. I mean, there's no placebo type effect with that. They'd already tried everything, and so that was all documented. And then it's really good to mention too, the only thing that could be considered a side effect is it's given the body the energy to push out what created the issues in the first place. So Dr. Shintani called me up. Oh my God, she just had the longest seizure ever. And this was like, I think it was their 8th or 9th time in, something like that. I'd have to go back and you can review this research, really. And I go, great, that's so exciting. And he's going, what? I said, that means the body is finally pushing out whatever created it in the first place.
Wow.
And after that, they just dropped to pretty much a nil. She'd have a bit of head drops occasionally, like 1 second, 2 seconds.
So you're talking about detoxification side effects.
Yeah, and that's what I referred to as that retracing or that Herxheimer, or like with your aunt. Mm-hmm. And it came back as the body is pushing out more of what created in the first place. It's going to retrace those symptoms, because as the body's pushing out what created it, it's going to create the same symptoms again. But get excited about it, because that means it's on its way out. You want to do the salt baths, you want to drink the water, support the detoxification, improve the diet, more alive, more, whatever that means for you. Upgrade your diet. Please don't go to McDonald's to do that. Or junk in the box.
I know you've received, as you said, 70,000 emails over that, just from that first interview that we've done together, and a lot of questions that people were even sending me, that I know that we have to ask you in this interview, is about these medallions and bracelets and other forms of technology that work in somewhat of the same way, but a different way than these bigger systems. So can you, again, simplistically explain, how does this work? You said it covers about 5 foot of a radius diameter?
Yeah, and this is that torsion field, that's that donut shape, the tube torus, but that's, understand, the easiest way to understand scalar is an infinity wave, okay? That keeps on going. These are self-healing, self-regenerating, self-perpetuating fields.
So do you charge this?
Yeah, so this is charged with our technology, but rather than just bringing it in, we hardwire it in our technology with, we've created a proprietary system for hypercharging. So this is high tech in the low tech model, because everybody kept going, can't you make it smaller? Can't you make it? But when we need things to help maintain the benefits of being in the technology when you leave as well. But all kinds of miracles, crazy miracles with these.
So you hypercharge these stones with the technology that you have in order to do so. How long does a charge last?
How long does infinity last? It just keeps...
You charge it once and it's done?
Yeah, these are self-perpetuating, and that's part of the aspect of scalar. We have PEMF, the pulse electromagnetic field aspects, the photonic aspects, the biophotonics, the photonic fusion, all these different things. But scalar is that nonlinear, non-Hertzian, fifth dimensional. We talk about we're going 5D, and beyond relative time and space. Yeah.
I have a vision. I know you and I share this same vision, and so does my family, by the way, because we're all very much on the same page of seeing this technology all around the world as fast as possible. That's the purpose behind the Unified Healing Network, why it was built so quickly, and I think why it happened so effortlessly, because it's for this greater initiative that we're trying to build, and we're succeeding, apparently, on how quickly it's all coming together. So my question for you is as this demand increases all around the world, and it is already, and it will continue to do so, because I could tell you that just on the network side of things, there are over 100 countries that are interested in bringing this technology and opening up centers around the world. Are you prepared to produce that level of technology?
We're ramping everything up. It's a process. And yeah, they're doing more than 24 units a day.
Good.
That they're in production. We had to bring in all the people that were part-time or full-time. We brought in new people that are great. You know, when you have a problem, you bring in the Marines. I've dealt a lot with the military. So we have a person running our office now that's trained in process management and specializes in efficiency and things like, and he just gets it done because it's the Marines, right? We have the special forces guys. Everybody's working in the office helping. We have the special forces guys' kids in the office helping.
So it's all coming from all angles to make this happen right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm seeing this grow so fast. One of the real goals that I want to bring to fruition here, that's actually listed on the Unified Healing website, is 100 countries by 2025. I believe that we can do it sooner than 2025, so long as you can produce them fast enough. If you can produce them fast enough, I see the interest all around the world. I see this network growing. The reason why, by the way, I emphasize this network, and I really want to just drive this point home, this is not a business that's being built when it comes to the Unified Healing Network. It's a humanitarian, completely humanitarian initiative that really manifests this vision. Meaning, after everything is taken care of paying this team and supporting the website and everything that we're doing to bring traffic to all centers that are coming onto this network around the world, whatever is left over, all that money is going right back into manifesting the mission that Sandra had, the vision that Sandra has, that her son Michael and her daughter Mela have, that I have. Probably the reason why TLS sent me to do this in the first place, to get this technology all around the world. So when I speak about the Unified Healing Network, I'm speaking about something that is, number one, a complete humanitarian initiative. I see no profit from it. This is not a for-profit aspect of the Unified organization. It's completely humanitarian in what we're doing, and it's a win-win-win, because the question is, how do we make it more accessible and affordable? Well, one of the requirements to be a part of that network is you cannot charge more than $60 an hour for any 2+ hour sessions. And we did that because we want people to really have the long-lasting effects when you commit to experiencing what you're going to experience through sitting in that room, coupled with doing everything that you're doing as well. In addition to that, we're also creating this network where not only is it making accessible and affordable to people all around the world, but we also bring traffic to all the centers that are on this network. Because I'll give you an example. There's a coming soon network in Toronto, Canada. This guy has such a long line just from being on the network before he even opened that gave him the funding to open. That's my dream. I don't believe that anybody that steps up to the plate has to struggle financially. If they're going to step up to the plate to go and open up a center, we're going to be doing whatever we can to be able to bring as much traffic to that location and as much attention to that location, because we share the same vision, we share the same mission. It's a win-win-win for everybody on this. It helps people make it more accessible and affordable. It helps centers being able to experience an abundance and influx of traffic to be able to operate their operation in the first place. And with anything left over after that, because it is a service, by the way, for those centers around the world, we use those funds and we fund the greater mission to see this all around the world, to bring it to schools, to bring it to places that people don't have the ability to access this in the first place. Because imagine if we can create this grid, and I'm not going to even say if, I'm going to say when, because it's going to happen. When we can create this grid of seeing this technology around the world, and when we come together in a unified manner, which is why it's called the Unified Healing Network, if we can come together to make that happen and all support each other, nobody loses, everyone wins, and we're able to heal the world. And that's what the Unified Healing Network is. It's a global initiative to heal the world. And thankfully, I'm in a position, the organization is in a position where I was able to do that in, 3 days?
It was unbelievable. I love how you're putting together, because we'll get so many calls from, say, Perth, Australia or something. We want these people to be able to come together. We have to be the greater community is the principle. We have to come together in these unified fields of consciousness. But you've created a vehicle for people in an area to all come together.
Yes, and that's another thing. You see, a lot of you have been saying we want to open up centers. So I always look, well, where can I bring value to everybody around the world to make that easier? We did that in a few ways. The Unified Healing Network helps you pretty much start up what it is that you're doing, or make it even bigger if you already have a center. But for people who don't necessarily have the funds to go and open up a center, they wanted partners. So we said, okay, you want to go find partners? Go make a group on Unified Social, another free social media platform. No advertisements, no catch whatsoever. Make a group, find your people, partner up. Find your people that want to do this, make a center, and that's how we make these pop up all around the world. And I'm telling you already, on the Unified Healing Network, and I actually want to let you know about a few centers that are already on this. We just started it recently. Out of the, like 20 centers that are open, we have already 8 that are literally onboarded onto this network like that. And that's when something works that fast, you know that it's not you doing it. You know, there's a greater mission here. And it is a greater mission because we're using it to fund everything else in that greater vision mission. But Verona, New Jersey, Jeffrey Lewis, I have them written down over here. Smithtown, New York. If you're in New Jersey or in New York, go to those centers. You got St. George, Utah. Her name is Janie Marvin. She's an incredible woman. I haven't met her yet, but she has a center. She's expanding around the state of Utah. If you are in that area, go check her out because she's incredible. Newport Beach, California, Dr. Jody Denise, incredible woman. Hot Springs, North Carolina. His name is Barry. The guy is just, I love him. I love him. He actually charges water through his center as well that he can explain to you when you go to that center.
It's a natural spring.
Yeah, it's awesome. You got Swanton, Ohio with Jennifer Urban. And coming soon, you got Toronto in Canada. This guy's name is Aaron. He's planning to expand all around Canada because this does not exist in Canada yet. And again, the reason why I'm letting you know about these locations, and you can find these locations on unifiedhealing.com, is because the quicker we build this network, the quicker we can manifest this vision. The idea is not to just you can have a center, but imagine having a center that's a part of a bigger network that's funding and creating the bigger purpose of what we want to see in this world, that's bringing your vision to fruition, that's bringing Michael's vision to fruition, Mela's vision to fruition. And again, I really do think that that's the reason why I was set to do this interview, and interview number 1, to make this happen. And I will say on camera, when this idea came to me, I had resistance. I didn't want to do it. I said, I have too much work on my plate. We got Unified TV, we got Unified Social, we got to figure it out. And I said, no, I don't want to do it. And I just couldn't not do it. I don't have a choice. I literally don't. I have to do it because I understand that it's for the greater good. I understand that there's something bigger than me and you at play over here that we have to do. That's what brought the Unified Healing Network to fruition. And I do believe that that's what's going to make this expansion happen as fast as possible. So if you are interested in opening up a center, once you have your unit and you want to come onto this network to allow us to help you expand, by all means, that's what the Unified Healing Network is for. That's what we do. I built a team for it. There are people working on it and supporting that to make sure that all of that comes to fruition and help you bring that center up as soon as possible so you can be abundant enough to go and open up another center and another center and another center. That's the idea. eesystem.com is where you go and actually get your medallions and bracelets and purchase those units. And unifiedhealing.com is where you come to be onboarded to that network. And one of the most amazing things that I just want to say thank you for, and I want to put this on camera as well, is generally when Sandra works with other people, there's some sort of affiliate commission that comes in. I don't take any of that. But I did ask Sandra and her son Michael if they'd be willing to, don't give me commission, just throw that commission back and give it back to the individual buying the unit. And they said yes, which means that if you are coming and opening up a center to be on board on that Unified Healing Center, they're giving you a 10% discount off of that unit, which is saving you thousands of dollars to make it more accessible and affordable to go and open up that center, whether you're doing it with partners or by yourself. The call to action is we need these centers all around the world. I do my best to bring my strengths to build a network to make that happen. In this case, it's completely humanitarian. I see no profit from it. We take any profits from that service and we put it right back into bringing this technology all around the world. And thank you for cooperating and helping that happen, because it's huge.
And it's supporting everybody. I mean, what I have said for decades, literally I've said for decades, we are the combined, unified presence that can heal the world. When you created unified healing, because it's all about this principle of however's in alignment with true best and highest purpose, highest mission, highest potential. That's the key code of all of my work, is alignment with true best and highest. I mean, people ask, what's the underlying thing? Well, that's it. And it's like, how do we bring healing? You know, and like I said, it's all about ask and you shall receive. You may not have asked, but you got the dump anyway.
I didn't have a choice. I'm telling you, when it came in, it was a Friday night, I'm sitting at dinner, and I'm like, and I was like, oh my, now I'm not going to be able to sleep. That's usually what happens. It comes in and I can't sleep. And I stayed up all night, got this website up and running, literally got everybody to work on it over the weekend. Paying you over the weekend, work, figure it out, get it done. And I mean, thankfully, because we have the team that we have, and we're able to expand through the unified platform and every support and aspect of support that we've had up until now, it came up fast. It came up faster than I could even breathe and understand what was going on. And I guess that's another aspect of why we're sitting here, to unify these centers around the world.
Now we have to come together in these unified fields, you know, to create the greater community. Community. It's, you know, and it's important that, because all of these centers need teams to support them as well. This is very different than just what people waiting for waiting for the med beds. You're going to line up 6 billion people? I mean, how's that going to work? But they'll be free. But we can't wait for all that. We have to do it now. And then this creates the next, you know, what I call, we're in deep shift as a planet. But shift has hit the fan of accelerated evolution. And it's shift or get off the planet. Because this planet is going into a greater expression of light and life 100%. And love. A new heaven, new earth through us. That's why we are here. We want that 1,000 years of peace, because we gave away our power too many times and ways to too many people. We were asleep at the wheel as communities. You know, look what we got. So let's create some sanity on this planet with healthier, more intelligent choices.
And I know that we can do it. I know that we can do it quick. I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing it happen right before my eyes where I'm sitting here, and I'm like, how is this happening so quick? You know, it doesn't make sense. When something doesn't make sense, you know you're being helped one way or another. So the explosive and the explosive momentum that's coming behind this is not something that's going to die down. Could have died down if we didn't take responsibility and accountability, but I don't see it dying down. I see the Unified Healing Network actually being one of the propellants behind that, to give people that extra incentive to say, wait a second, I can do this because I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Right. The biggest fear of starting something like that and going and investing all this money and finding a place to open up the center is, will I be able to support it? Will I be able to operate? What about funding? Well, yeah, when you have enough eyes on your center and you have everybody coming to your center, not only will you be able to support that, you'll be able to open another one. And so long as we're in that flow of abundance while always supporting each other, making it affordable, accessible, bringing traffic to the centers, letting everybody know about the current centers on the network, because they're adhering to that bigger vision, they're a part of that bigger vision. I mean, what else can you ask for? And then on top of that, using anything that's made from that network to go and continue funding that mission. It's a win, win, win for absolutely everybody. It's a win for humanity. That's what the toroidal field is. It's not about hurt something to gain over here. It's not about lose here to win here. It's win everywhere. It's energy that's propelling itself in that field. So
the more we receive, the more we can share.
Yeah.
The more we share, the more we receive. It's that infinite flow
100%.
Of energy. And it's really, really important that people get off the complacency and into community. The complacency of thinking there was nothing you could do to change things in this world. Yes, you can. You know, we are each such powerful beings when we come together. When we stand together in the unified fields, God wins.
100%.
And the Great Awakening will not be stopped. I was promised that when I was asked to do this technology, because again, I was asking, the clearer the questions, the clearer the answers. We're connected to the infinite innate intelligence. I was meditating and got told to do this. It was a request, but I was told to do this. It was whole instruction, yada, 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 yada. Long. And I questioned it because I thought computers were the beast. I didn't let my kids have a television growing up. I thought computers were the beast. I wouldn't go in a room with a computer, didn't want to touch computers. And it's like, you want me to do what? Program computers to emulate my healing work? I'm a master healer, and I was to put that into, and it went on and on and on, what was to be created with this, and to create the cataclysm of consciousness where we get it right this time.
That's what we're here to do. I think that's why it's happening in the way that it's happening. And I think the most apparent thing is that we are being helped every step of the way. Interview number 1 was the perfect, epitome of that coming into action. Unbelievable.
It was just pretty spontaneous. I really loved, too, that we had the cube in the background, because we did hear a lot. Is it possible that I got the miracle healing through watching? Absolutely. That was intentional. It's transmission. It was transmitting unified fields. But one aspect of scalar, it's a carrier wave. And so it transmits, and so it was literally brought that healing energy to the world. Whether people understood my scientific jargon or not didn't really matter, I guess, because they got it somehow, because the cells vibrate and resonate with the power of truth.
Absolutely.
And that's the principle that we work with this technology. Literally, the cells are vibrating and resonating with the power of truth. Now we just have to come together and be that greater truth on the planet and walk the planet, with that double-edged sword of Michael to cut through the BS. And be in that alignment with truth.
Absolutely. So I want to ask you a couple more questions before bringing this interview to a close. A lot of people who have wanted to open up centers affiliated with the Unified Healing Network have asked me a lot of questions. I said I'll ask you, and I figured this would probably be a very productive place to ask it for anybody who will probably ask this question in the future as well. Question number 1 for individuals interested in opening these centers around the world. Is it possible to have a mobile center? Meaning putting it in some sort of truck, RV, shipping crate, driving around. I know Michael said it would be. You would have to figure it out. Where do you stand on that?
It would have to be recalibrated each stop, probably, because of road vibration. It's a little rougher with that. She needs something really smooth. So yes, it is possible. There's nothing impossible. We just have to figure out how to do it.
Now, in your home, you have many, many different units and screens. The big question was, does it take a lot of electricity? A lot of people want to open up centers off-grid using solar power energy. Can they do that? Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's about 75 watts per unit. So
per screen?
Yeah, it's per unit and screen.
Okay.
It's because that's it's the black box technology, the generator with a screen. That's about 75 watts, so like a light bulb.
If it's an 8-unit system, it's 75 times 8, that's your wattage of output that you're going to need.
Right.
One of the biggest questions that came in from a lot of people who want to open up centers around the world affiliated with the network is, do we need a medical license to do so?
No, this is not, we have not intentionally not made this a medical device, because it's just, nothing touches the body. It's just healthy energy. It looks like just computers. And so we don't really fit that medical model of healing, treating, or curing any specific disease, and did not want to be part of that.
Understood. What about regulations on the technology in different countries? Do you foresee that being a problem at any point?
No, we have not had any problems with any of that, but part of that, so it's all over the world. And there are centers, different centers that have been all over the world too, but most of them are, 90% of our systems out there are in private homes.
For now. Just wait.
And in private homes, because the best is having it around your bed, the best is sleeping in it. So, like we had that question earlier today, well, what are you doing there?
Sleep.
Sleep. Because that's where the body heals, is in the delta and theta brain states. That's where it can use the energy, internalize it to repair, rejuvenate, regenerate. And the brain can detox and things like that, is in sleep. So that's how you use it. You take that power nap, but focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Say all your prayers. And go get your ideal meditation in on the way to sleep.
For that reason, by the way, one of the preferred options that we ask for centers to offer that are affiliated with the Unified Healing Network is try to give the ability for people to be able to sleep in the units overnight. I mean, I've had a personal experience in Verona, New Jersey with Jeffrey's system, and it was just, I'm telling you, I was clear. It was like a mechanic came to me and gave me a tune-up to my brain.
Tune-up, yes. It's fine-tuning to be the super beings, superheroes for the planet. That's what we need for the kids. We've seen phenomenal results as far as their academics and physical capabilities and their achievements just skyrocketing after using the system. Or kids, we really want to have birthing centers. We got that question, is it safe for pregnant women? It's nothing better. I was a birth coach. I'm really into that. And if you're pregnant, don't do anything that doesn't make a healthy body. You don't put anything in your body that doesn't make a healthy body. But it's the ideal, optimal thing for pregnancy, for both the mother to alleviate any of the issues of pregnancy, and for the baby, because of the oxygenation and the optimal energy and birthing. We've had fertility, people that have gone to fertility clinics and all of a sudden, but you don't just want a baby, you want a healthy baby. I'll give an example, okay? I know we're supposed to be wrapping this up, but but I love this one. It's somebody that your parents met, McCall, the Queen of Rocks, because she's the largest crystal dealer on the planet. She had one of her boys, 6 years old, was totally nonverbal. She had done every therapy and every treatment and modality on the planet, literally, with this child. Everything dietary and everything else. And he was nonverbal at 6 years old. Well, he came in, and you saw the cube. He came into the cube, he put his forehead in respect to each of the screens.
Wow.
Right, and of course that's working with the brain. Put his forehead to the screens in respect. Did the same thing when he went into the bigger system. Stayed overnight, did the scalar slumber party, and afterwards they said he was sleeping through the night for the first time ever in his life.
Wow. Which
was huge, because again, all healing and brain detoxification is in sleep. It's going to try to push out all those neurotoxins, but the heavy metals especially. It's going to push those heavy metals, whether it's aluminum or mercury poisoning or whatever, or uranium, because there's a lot of depleted uranium that people have been exposed to. It's going to try to discharge all that, and that's done in sleep. So he did the scalar slumber party. They said he was focusing more and mouthing words. But anyway, the bottom line was, she called me up and put him on the phone with me 1 week later. 1 week later, put him on the phone with me, and he sang his entire ABCs to me.
Wow. I
just cried. This is why we do what we do. Save the kids. This is all about the kids, because they're our future, And as a mother and grandmother, we want the whole world to be a healthier place.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Well, you're definitely doing an incredible job, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it in any way that I can be with you and your incredible family, and just bringing this out in the best way that we can, and helping people along the way to ensure that their centers are as successful as possible so they can continue opening more, because again, we have to see a grid connected all around the world. It's great to see centers every so often, but when we see enough around the world, I do believe, and I know through even the science that is evident with this technology, that it will change the field of consciousness around the world. It will help us shift into that higher consciousness. And again, it's not the technology that's saving you. Don't externalize and give that power away. You have that power within you. That technology is the assistance along the way of that remembrance process. And it's unbelievable to be able to sit here with, I mean, the inventor, you know, and being able to speak about this. I believe that this is
came in. How do we heal the world? Well, that was rather presumptuous, wasn't it? But how do we heal the world? Yeah. And that's been my big question my whole life. Mm-hmm. Let's get it done. Let's do it. But it's all of us coming together. We're each important. And and I use the technology to turn up the volume on your own inner knowing to let yourself know whatever there is to know. Mm-hmm. The knowing which allows all things to heal and clear as issues in your body, your life, your relationships, our communities, for the whole world now. And use that energy to be fine-tuned as that instrument of divine plan and purpose, that we might function effectively, efficiently, powerfully, gloriously, and ecstatically. The power of pleasure is important. We're here, we might as well really enjoy being here.
Yes.
And we could have a lot more fun, because if we could create everything we've created on this planet, it's a very creative, beautiful planet. If we could create everything we've created, now what do we want to create? There could be a lot more fun things to create than some of the things that were created here. Let's create a whole new heaven, a new earth, a paradise. Like Hawaii carries that paradise template of reality. You know, let's create heaven on earth.
I love it. The revolution of healing is obviously here. We're seeing it all around the world. We're seeing it start all around the world. I'm grateful for you and your time. I know that a lot of you are interested in opening up these centers all around the world, and any way that I can possibly help, and I know that this goes for Dr. Sandra's team as well, any way that we can possibly help to make that happen, because this is the vision that will help heal humanity. One of the many ways along our way to get to that inevitable collective destiny of just harmony and love and unity in that unified field that we're consciously creating. Any way that we can help, we will. If you're interested in going to open up that center anywhere around the world, you first go to eesystem.com, and that's where you can actually get the technology. Once you do that and you want to come onto the Unified Healing Network, so I and my team can do our job to help you open in the most successful way possible so you can be abundant enough to go and open up more centers around the world. That's when you come to unifiedhealing.com, and then you speak to myself and our team that onboards you onto that network, and we help bring attention from all around the world to your center to ensure that you are not struggling for even a second. I can't do this alone. Dr. Sandra can't do this alone. Nobody can do it alone. That's why we're unifying together. That's why the network exists. The last thing I will say, and I will stress this, is if you are planning on coming onto the Unified Healing Network, when you do go and purchase that technology, make sure you let Dr. Michael's team know, because you will get a 10% discount. I forfeited any commission to make it more affordable for each and every one of you to be able to open these centers in the most easy way possible and just facilitate the expansion of these centers all around the world. So I do what I can. Dr. Michael, I know you do what you can, and we're going to see these centers in over 100 countries by 2025, if not sooner. And I know that we can do it sooner if we all come together. So I look forward to continuing this mission and this vision and bringing it to fruition by really coming together. It's not about waiting for somebody else to do it anymore. Now is the time to step up to that plate. We all do what we can to make it happen. We all support each other in the process. That's how we unify, and that's how we make this world a better place. Before we bring this interview to a close, do you have any closing messages that you want to share with the world?
Yeah. Keep breathing. You're breathing light, breathing love, letting go of everything that no longer serves our greatest life and greatest love here on earth, as it is in heaven, through us now. And the only thing beyond love is more fully shared love. So make sure you share this information, share the knowledge, share your wisdom, share the only things you ever want to share with anybody. And that's our light and our power and our love and our truth. And so keep sharing that, please. And it's these infinite waves of love to go out and touch the hearts of all beings to feel more love, because we love miracles.
Thank you. That brings us to a close of a second interview that's probably somehow going to make its way to every country on earth in a very short period of time. So again, thank you. Thank you to all of you who are taking this information and sharing it all around the world. Thank you for those of you who are stepping up to the plate, choosing to take responsibility and accountability and further unify the world and heal the world in the best way that we know how, by taking action. Every link and everything that I've spoken about, there are links in the description below, so you can all check out eesystem.com, unifiedhealing.com to find the locations affiliated with that Unified Healing Network, and any other information, including that resources tab, where you'll be able to see all these peer-reviewed studies so you guys can do your homework as well, instead of just outsourcing your power and trusting what somebody says. Do it yourself, do the work, come down to your own conclusions. So with that, this brings us to a close. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Sandra, again for your time. We love you, and I look forward to continuing this journey together.
Thank you, Jason.